From the moment Maki Zenin is introduced, she's branded as the Zenin clan failure, a label that makes her eventual transformation into their extinction event all the more ironic. And the most impressive part? The story told us this was coming from the very beginning. Maki is initially portrayed as a character driven by deep grudges, yet lacking the power to act on them. But in Season 3, she completes her transformation into a full-fledged monster. Shocking, brutal, and unforgettable. But if you were paying close enough attention, the foreshadowing had already been laid, carefully building the foundation for one of the most destructive forces in JJK. One of the hardest things to write in a battle series is a satisfying power-up. When done well, it feels inevitable, and when done poorly, it can feel like an ass pull. Maki's transformation belongs in the first category. Despite criticism that JJK leans on hype and aura, her rise is anything but sudden. Sure, it feels shocking, but it's not random. All of the groundwork from heavenly restrictions to Toji's ceiling and the Zenin clan's ideology are all embedded in the story from the start. So when her eventual evolution happens, it doesn't require any suspension of disbelief, it just makes sense. So let's take a deeper dive into how Gege writes a character destined to become a monster. Maki is introduced as a strong character by student standards, but is otherwise lacking in the world of sorcerers. She's referred to as the Zenin family failure by Gege, and one of her first lines in the series is her telling Yuta not to call her by her last name. Remember that for later. After their confrontation with Gege, she reveals to Yuta that she doesn't even meet the minimum requirement to be a sorcerer, seeing curses. Despite this, she still has the goal of becoming a strong sorcerer to flip the Zenin family upside down. This is the first indication that Gege has something bigger planned for this character, because Maki is the only other student in JJK 0 given a backstory and clear motivation. And the Goodwill event arc in the main series only deepens that foundation. With the introduction of Maki's identical twin sister, another puzzle piece leading to her inevitable snap falls into place. It's through this arc that we learn a few more key aspects about Maki's character. First, she's way stronger than we initially thought. Her fight with Miwa serves as an enormous flex for both her physical prowess and her battle IQ. She juggles multiple weapons, martial arts, and strategies to overwhelm Miwa, who recognizes her rank as a grade 4 sorcerer to be entirely fraudulent. During this very fight, a conversation between teachers reveals that Maki's already operating at least a grade 2 level, with the important caveat that the Zenin clan has intentionally restricted her advancement. At the same time, the arc begins peeling back the layers of the Zenin clan itself. Through dialogue between Momo and Nobara, we learn that among the big three families, the Zenin are especially rigid and tradition-bound, demanding perfection especially from their female sorcerers. This oppressive environment shaped both Maki and Mai's upbringing, giving important context for their current-day selves. The story then pivots fully to the twins, interweaving their present-day confrontation with flashbacks of their childhood. It's in these flashbacks that critical foreshadowing emerges. We learn that twins are considered a bad omen within Jujutsu society, though the reason isn't yet explained. We're also told that Maki possesses a heavenly restriction that trades cursed energy and technique for extraordinary physical capabilities. But instead of valuing this rare gift, the Zenin clan shuns it. Again, we aren't told why, but it doesn't make much sense. Mai, meanwhile, has a potentially broken technique, construction, but with such severe limitations that she can only create a single bullet per day. All of this information makes their abilities feel divided and incomplete. Most importantly, we see the emotional fracture between them. A flashback reveals Maki once promised Mai that they would stay together, but she breaks that promise in pursuit of strength and independence by leaving the clan and telling Naobito that she'd return to be the clan head. They love each other, but Maki's ambitions and resentments pull them apart. What looks at first like simple sibling tension is actually the foundation of something much darker, a catalyst of what's about to come. To recap, at this point in the narrative, we don't yet understand the exact mechanics behind Maki's heavenly restriction, the curse of twins, or why the Zenin clan rejects what should be an elite physical gift, but the pieces are already on the board. All that's needed is a blueprint. Toji's first line in the series is, "I don't go by Zenin anymore." Sound familiar? From that moment, the stage is set. Here's another Zenin outcast with a heavenly restriction and immense aura. Every action Toji takes functions as a glimpse of Maki's ceiling. This is first demonstrated when he single-handedly defeats the two strongest sorcerers in the series, and his resurrection during Shibuya makes it even clearer. When he invades Dagon's domain, steals playful Cloud from Maki, and proceeds to dismantle a special grade curse spirit with absurd efficiency, it's more than spectacle. He sharpens a curse tool mid-fight, turns it into a fucking pole vault, and somehow overwhelms a special grade domain expansion through raw physical dominance. And as this unfolds, the narrative deliberately cuts to Maki. The implication is unmistakable. This is what she could become. When all is said and done, Toji's impact on the story and on the reader is proof of concept. A sorcerer with no cursed energy can not only survive among the strongest, but humiliate them. His existence reframes Maki's so-called defect as something far more dangerous. It also clarifies why the Zenin clan rejects her so fiercely. It isn't disdain, it's fear. Toji was the ghost of the Zenin clan, a man who, as Ranta notes, could dictate its fate on a whim. Maki carries that same potential, but without Toji's detachment or unpredictability. If Toji was a rogue element, Maki is a reckoning. These dominoes begin to fall when a failed plan leaves Maki and Mai imprisoned and marked for execution, a plan orchestrated by their own father. Trapped in a chamber filled with curses primed to rip them apart, Mai finally reveals the truth about twins and why they're considered such a bad omen. In Jujutsu society, identical twins are treated as a single existence. Because of this, Maki's heavenly restriction never fully manifested. Her potential was divided by Mai's continued life. What follows is Mai's final act of love and defiance. She takes the remaining cursed energy with her, sacrificing her life to create a replica of the Split Soul Katana, one of the most powerful curse tools famously wielded by Toji. Her last request is simple and devastating. Promise me one thing, destroy everything. And with Mai's death, Maki becomes complete. What comes next isn't just revenge, it's culmination. Before throwing her into the pit, Ogi dismissed her heavenly restriction as insignificant, a failure even among failures. But this too is revealed as self-deception. When Maki stands before him, he remembers the fear Toji once instilled in the entire Zenin clan. This time, that fear has a new face. Maki slices through his skull and the massacre begins. Maki proceeds to tear through the Kukuru squad with effortless precision, leaving bodies in her wake. Ranta observes that she's become exactly like Toji as she continues to dismantle Hei, the elite sorcerers of the clan, without hesitation. The comparison is no longer symbolic, it's literal. Her final obstacle is Naoya, the embodiment of the Zenin clan's misogyny and a Toji fanatic. He insists she'll never be Toji, denouncing her as a counterfeit, presumably due to her gender. It's as he screams that she's a fake where Maki ends the fight with a single clean punch. In one strike, she shatters not only the last defender of the Zenin clan, but the ideology it stood on, crushing its traditions, its hierarchy, and its contempt for her existence. And while her transformation is undeniably shocking, again, it's never unbelievable. The groundwork for Maki's ascension was laid carefully and deliberately long before the massacre ever occurred. And it's through layered foreshadowing that Gege masterfully constructs a rise that feels inevitable rather than sudden. I won't get into manga spoilers, but from here to the end of the series, Maki continues to distinguish herself among the main cast, not just through strength, but through presence and purpose. The destruction of the Zenin clan isn't merely a spectacle, it's the payoff of years of narrative setup. For me, it stands as one of the most satisfying character arcs in the series, and one of the most compelling transformations in fiction. In fact, it's this arc that made me realize Gege is actually an incredible writer, but don't worry, in the next arc he convinces me otherwise. Maki's rise was written from the start, but what about the others? Let me know in the comments which character arcs or transformations you'd be interested in seeing a future video about, and I'll see you next time.